We are here today, February 8th, 2016, with a pioneer who is considered a pillar of the Modesto, California community.
They didn't crucify, they murdered them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They murdered, but they changed it, they dressed it up, the word crucified.
Yeah.
But don't take my word, go ask a little kid, this is what define crucified mean. They can't tell you what it means.
Yeah.
You tell them murder or kill, they know.
Yeah.
What about Dr. King? What did they do to him?
They murdered him.
You see, that's what the white man taught you. And what did they do to him? If I shoot you now, is that assassination or murder?
Murder.
Why they say Dr. King
Got
assassinated? See, this is stuff they don't teach you in school.
Yeah.
See, I was that way. I moved to California when I was 11 years old. And it was racist down there. White people had their own school, you had your own school. But what happened, when the books are obsolete for the white school, you know who they gave them to? But yeah, even one other person can give them to them. The black people.
Yeah.
See, and they was all rolled in. But the thing about it was better than what we had.
Yeah.
And we didn't know until I got grown. I realized it, you know what I mean, that what they were doing. But my people paid taxes like the white people did. The white kids rode the bus to school. We walked to school.
Yeah.
Also joining us today are students from the Grace Davis High School's Black Student Union. Thank you all for being here today. We were able to get together with Mr. Mack Wilson, the father of Jock and Jocku Wilson, who are both attorneys and founders of the nonprofit organization Advocates for Justice.
And when you see us here today, we are coming to you in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King. If he were here today, he'd be addressing these same issues that we're going to deal with as well. And he said that an injustice to one is an injustice to all. And so even though the numbers regarding suspensions have come down, and even though they have substantially come down with regards to expulsions, we still think that those numbers could be better. And I heard a lot of talk about Brown today, and the gentleman by name Mr. Brown. The Brown that I know is the Brown versus Board of Education. And that said that separate but equal was no longer the law of the land. And when you look at the discipline data when it comes to suspensions, the data shows that although we are together, it is still unequal in the school district when it comes to black students. And whether the people change up here or not, the problem remains the same. We came to you 5 years ago with the same issue. And like I said, even though we do commend you for getting the numbers down. I mean, that is great work that you all have done. But the point is, serious work remains. And
Mr. Wilson has been alongside them as they try to partner and collaborate with Modesto School District to improve the conditions of all students, especially those who struggle the most, our African American male students. Mr. Wilson was also a part of a very disturbing incident that took place at a recent Modesto City Schools District Board meeting taking place on the 19th of January, 2016. We'll discuss that today, along with Mr. Wilson's background and experiences.
I went through it, my grandfather went through it, and my kids went through it, and it's no different. It ain't changed. And I look at all the awards they gave out there tonight. I look at the board here. This is 2016. When I went to Vietnam for 18 months, they put me out there fighting, and it ain't no different in the service. I didn't know black people was in the Air Force. I'm telling you, I didn't know they was in there. You go to church, and you all talk about God and Jesus, but it comes from the mouth. It got to come from the heart. God look at your heart. And God created me. The same God created me, he created you too. And the thing about it, we need to treat people with respect. I respect you if you don't like me. I know some of you don't. But I respect you. And I tell the truth. I respect you. You need to respect all of us. And what I'm talking about, I'm talking to the community out there too. We got some good teachers and some bad teachers. You understand what I mean? And you hired a teacher. You should get good qualified teachers. Now our kids won't fail. But I taught school.
Mr. Wilson, you're off subject. We're talking about the appointment or not.
The appointment appointing good teachers.
We're talking about appointment to the board. Please stick to the subject.
I'm talking about, you know what? That's another thing. Like that, I just have to say, no respect. I'm talking about pointing good teachers and role models for the black kids. Now, that's what I'm talking about. You don't have them.
You'll have your chance to speak on that and the next thing where your sons are going to be the speakers.
Well,
but stick to the subject, please.
I'm sticking to the subject. You're not with the subject. And the thing about it, I'm coming here to talk about hiring some black people to come here. Our black kids need role models. Black kids, white kids, brown kids.
You're off the subject. Please stick to the subject. We're talking about whether we shall appoint or whether we should have an interview process for the board opening. You're way off track on what we're talking about. Please stick to the subject.
Okay, we need to appoint some black people, and some of the people from the community need to be on these boards. Because I think the people that do the appointment, they're not qualified. And that's why we have an only problem now. The kids need help, and you appoint the right people in there. Kids don't have no role models. Appoint somebody so they can come in and see, well, I can be on the board of school teacher. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, I wish y'all do a better job than you've been doing. I'm not saying that I don't have none animosity against none of y'all, but everybody come here saying the same thing.
Please stick to the subject.
I'm talking about the same thing about
No,
hiring
you're
some
not.
black people. I'm talking hiring some people.
We're talking about an appointment.
That's what I'm talking about too.
All right, you just said appoint a black person, and that's
That is
on subject.
appointment.
That is on subject.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, appointing some black people. Because
All right.
the thing about it is, we have kids going to school. They need role models too. And we don't have them. So you can say what you want. You the president up there, but you're not the president over me. You remember that.
I also remind you that there are at least six Christian men and women up here, and you're not the only Vietnam vet, and you're not the only whole man of... Sit down.
No. Tell me to sit down.
I'll tell you to sit down also.
Let's go. Come on.
They stick to the subject.
You out of order.
Yeah, he is out of order.
You out of
That's
order.
the problem with implicit racism in this community. It comes from right there. Come on. They did that in the 60s. This is 1916.
They understand.
Excuse me, I just want to ask that was out of line, and I ask that an apology is made by the person who has said these things. If he doesn't apologize, I apologize on his behalf.
We're going to start first with Mr. Wilson. Hello, Mr. Wilson. Thank you so much for this opportunity to interview such a strong and giving individual like yourself. You have contributed so much to the Stanislaus community. From Modesto City Schools to the African American community, you are a man that many look up to.
So since you brought up treating everybody the same, how do you feel about not getting the same respect back from that?
Well, I feel deprived of my rights and things. I respect everyone. They should respect me whether I like you or not. I still respect you. Remember that. Oh, no matter if do you get mad at your friend? See, I get up in the morning, I thank God for a good day or bad day, because God is in control. So always respect is one of the key things. Yeah. You understand? See, the white man wants power and control over you. Them two things. Don't never forget that. Power and control.
I know our BSU students appreciate this opportunity to learn more about their history as well.
I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of bringing about in any the social and political equality of the white and black races. That I am not, nor ever have been in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to marry with white people. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. Wow. And as much as they cannot live so, while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior, and I as much as any other man am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. I say
I mean being over you,
being
controlling you.
overpowered, yeah. The white man is to have the superior position, and the Negro should be denied everything. The Collected Works of Abraham Lincoln, edited by Roy P. Basler, Volume 3, Fourth Debate with Stephen A. Douglas at Carlson, Illinois, September 18, 1858. Abraham Lincoln said that?
How about you, Divine? Do you want to ask Mr. Wilson anything?
I just have a question. I heard at the board meeting you said you have left the segregated South to come here for something better. What do you see from the years now to here? Is it the same? Is it anything different? Is it basically living in the South just with more freedom? Or
Okay, no. In the South, it's not more freedom, but in the South, you know where you stand. You know, you can't go certain places. A long time you couldn't go certain places, and you knew not to go there. But what happened is when you moved to California, people in California from all over, and they still treat you, they judge you by the color of your skin. They still treat you the same. But they don't give me respect because of the color of our skin, like they murdered Jesus because of the color of his skin. Because Palestine, I find no fault of it.
That's very interesting, Mr. Wilson. Markeisha, do you want to ask Mr. Wilson any questions?
So, like, what memory stands out to you from living in the South?
Well, it was very discriminating. It was very bigot. It was bigot, racist, you know, and discriminated against us in the South. But see, I didn't know too much about the South, like my brother. I lived in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it was an island, like, so they didn't. All over Florida was real bad, but I never got a chance to go to different places. Like you live in Modesto, like San Francisco is still in California. Fresno still in California. Well, I didn't get a chance to travel them places, so I didn't see them. I was like isolated until I went into the military. Then I really found out about all this racial stuff. But I know in the South, they had you go to the restroom, we had colored, and they had white, a water fountain. I had pictures about all that stuff.
So you actually lived through that.
I saw some of it, yeah. And you have water fountain, you know what I mean? 2 water fountains. One say color and one say white.
That must have been tough to experience. Before you pass the torch to the next generation, what skills would you like them to have, and what information would you like them to know?
Body, your health. Yeah. You ain't got but one body. And stop eating all the junk food, McDonald's, Popeye.
Guilty.
That's all.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, because see, this is what they'll tell you. A woman, like a nurse and stuff, they should be telling you that stuff. They bring a woman. It ain't good for your temper. So take care of your, how many tempers do you have? How many tempers do you have? How many you have?
How many what?
Tempers. I call your body a temper. How many tempers do you have?
One.
How many tempers do you have? How many you have?
That's why they say your body's a temple.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So check this out. You got to take care of it. It's yours. If you go to the doctor, what's the first thing the doctor asks you? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You don't know, but you take the car to the shop, they put a machine on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's your temper. If my back hurt, the doctor don't know that.
Yeah.
They can take an x-ray, see some bone mess up. They don't know how I feel.
Yeah. They don't know if you're in pain.
Yeah, so I'm telling y'all this stuff. This was in Time Magazine. You ever heard of Time Magazine?
Yeah.
That's the biggest magazine in the world. You know, I was in there.
Yeah.
Fighting like I'm fighting now. See? But what happened is, you guys don't fight because you don't know how to fight. You don't know what to fight with. But arm yourself. Like I say, you go to them teachers and the principals and stuff, a bunch of y'all get together. Don't let them break you down. But have your facts together.
Yeah.
You can go in and say, well, why we can't get no black principals? Why we can't get more black teachers? We need a role model. You know, we want them. You got a voice. And don't be afraid. And when you go up there, see, you can write it down on a piece of paper, and you say that. Because when you go up there, you're so mad sometimes, you lose your cool, but don't never lose your cool.
Yeah.
No matter what they do to you, don't lose your cool. That'll kill them right there. Because we had 2 city councilmen up there, black before, and did one of them wrong he was dead. Who you think they did them wrong? Who you think they called? You. Called me. But they never helped in the community. I went down there, and they gave the one guy a piece of paper. Hand me the piece of paper. I'm going to show you what he did. Hand it to me. I said, no. I told him, you lost your cool. No matter what they do to you, don't lose your cool. You're better than they are. And so he finally got it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
And I just want to bring up one point. When we're talking about implicit bias training, and this is, regarding the comment that was made to my father to sit down. My father's 82 years old, Vietnam veteran. He lived in the segregated South, lived through Plessy versus Ferguson, the Board of Education. He grew up in the South. He moved out to Northern California to try to find a better life for his family, and he was confronted with racism there. He's been fighting this school district for over 50 years for equal treatment for people, not just black students, for all students. And so the point that I'm getting at is for a man who comes from the South to hear a white man tell him to sit down is the same type of segregation that he had to leave when he was in the South, when folks said, boy, go the other way. Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing. He is no boy, he's a man, and a man makes men. And I'm here to support him, whether he was off the mark or not. If you had been dealing with this type of data and issues for 50 years, you'd be off the mark a little as well. Okay. Now,
I have another question.
Go for it.
So you say you were in the Air Force for
21 years.
21 years. Do you see a difference in now than there was before?
I mean, in civilian life?
Yeah.
No, it's worse.
It's worse?
Yeah.
Is this
Like, tell me
like what
How?
examples? Like, yeah.
How many black teachers do you have?
One.
What year this is?
2016.
Are you living in Modesto? We work this geographic location. We got to focus on stuff like around here.
Yeah.
How many black judges do you see?
I don't really see. I know. I saw
This got
one.
one lady. This guy.
Yeah.
How many black police chiefs you have?
I don't even think we have one. I think
You
it's
don't
like
have
a
one.
reference.
We had one black. You right now. We had one black police chief named Jefferson. They ran him out of town because the black people didn't support him. That's what I mean. How many black mayors do you have? How many black city councilmen do you have?
None.
How many black school board members do you have?
We have none.
0.
Okay, so you asked me a question, I'm answering.
Okay.
All that stuff I'm gonna tell you. How many black principals you see since you've been in Modesto?
Whoa.
I never seen one.
All right.
I never even heard of one.
So this is 2000. What I'm telling you, this is 2016, right?
And nothing ain't changed.
There you go.
I certainly agree that seeing people that look like you in positions you dream to be in one day is extremely important. Davis, high school BSU students, do you guys have any follow-up questions?
So what's your opinion on hip-hop music?
Well, I don't know how you define hip hop music to me. I love gospel music,
Oh, me too.
Me too.
and I like James Brown, Sam Cooke, them old guys. Those I don't like cursing, degrading. I don't like degrading people. That's disrespect. So I like gospel music like Sam Cooke.
Kurt Franklin.
Who?
Kurt Franklin.
Yeah, I say gospel. See, I got on my TV, on my television, it's a 538. I got the cable. It's gospel music 24 hours a day. So I don't like that cursing. I don't like the degrading women and stuff. I don't like that.
Any other students want to ask our pioneer any questions while we have him here?
I have another question.
Go right ahead.
What is Christianity to you?
Christianity is believing in God and living God's ways and obeying God's rules and love one another.
Oh, I definitely agree. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Mr. Wilson. I was fortunate to get to know you at one of our first sessions of Court Watch that your twin sons have created out there in San Francisco. Thank you for inspiring me to be great, and I look forward to working with you and Advocates for Justice in the near future. That's it from me, signing off here from Logan, Utah. Once again, I'm Fallon Ferris, and thanks for listening.